So, if you missed it, which is very likely because this whole thing blew up and then blew over at the speed of light, some woman on TikTok came out and accused coryxkenshin of emotionally abusing her and mistreating her. Panda Ninja XX is a TikTok user and says she was once the girlfriend of coryxkenshin and has uploaded several videos in July 2025 to that effect. Although the accusations were not criminal, they shed light on the emotional aspects of relationships between influencers. Panda Ninja explained that her postings were not aimed at branding or slandering coryxkenshin of any illegal activity, but at telling a first-hand account for no reason, so unnecessarily. So this is what is known so far about the claims. Emotional manipulation. She explained her experiences that being ghosted by Cory would ignore her as a way to teach her a lesson, leaving her with self-doubt about her worth. Gaslighting and control. According to her, he used his influence and status to keep his control over her, leaving her feeling worthless and confused. Inappropriate behavior. There was even one audio clip which was supposedly recorded by coryxkenshin where he mentions watching her sleeping. I said that so weird. Inciting a fetish, which understandably disturbed most people who had watched the video. Crude text messages. She also posted some screenshots of Xbox chat logs where he allegedly made crude comments, making vulgar remarks about using her for sex and companionship. And I read the screenshots. That's not what was going on. The internet, for a moment, for some silly, goofy, unknown reason, took to this like flies to and ran with it like God was hunting them. I can't link the photos she uploaded to TikTok because they have since been deleted or put on private, but I went through them and it was not worth the storm that it caused. It was a few screenshots from Xbox of them supposedly messaging each other, but mostly her dumping her emotions about the situation and making her claims. This all happened years ago, apparently, by the way, and this girl is allegedly in her mid-30s. Years ago. Now in her mid-30s, taking to TikTok to vent about a relationship that simply ended and broke her heart. This whole thing was so stupid to watch, and it's why I cannot stand the idea that we're just supposed to blindly believe random ass accounts who make any claims. Yes, believe women, absolutely, but you are also supposed to use your discernment and think critically. Like, what? Especially when it comes to accounts online with virtually no presence. Do you know how easy it is to make any allegation? I could fake screenshots right now and tell you that I used to hook up with, I don't know, who's a person right now? Pedro Pascal. I could tell you he was actually verbally abusive and is really good at gaslighting because I had a couple screenshots that looked like they came from Pedro Pascal. You're supposed to just believe me? With absolutely no other proof nor evidence to back me up. Just me telling you passionately enough that it sounds convincing. That is dumb. And that can do so much more harm than good. This right here is not enough to try to ruin someone's life and career. So he allegedly wasn't the best boyfriend. They broke up and then he reached out to her to hook up and not get back together, which hurt her feelings. Why am I supposed to care? And I do mean to be blunt. Why am I supposed to care? Why is this supposed to make me angry? I'm genuinely asking. Ghosting someone is not abuse. It's hurtful, but it is not abusive. Dramatizing things and over-sensationalizing them for the sake of attention, and yes, this was absolutely a ploy for attention because she can't get over something that happened forever ago, is harmful to people who actually find themselves in toxic and or unsafe relationships. And shit like this makes it harder for people to be believed. This is just so irritating and grating for multiple reasons. Granted, she made it clear she wasn't accusing him of assault, but not making a criminal accusation doesn't mean this won't be used against people who do come out and say, I had a toxic experience with this person in the future. The Cory situation highlights how toxic people really are and how quickly they'll turn on you. I wake up and see everyone talking about how I never liked Cory or how they're gonna burn all their merch of him. Essentially, a girl who was allegedly his ex came out saying that Cory was a toxic boyfriend to her, being emotionally abusive and everything. He also made an out-of-pocket joke about doing something to her in her sleep, something she herself acknowledges was a joke she liked. The internet, being the internet, has been painting Cory into a sexual abuser / rapist. The girl herself has clarified that no, he did not essay her in any form. There was zero There was zero physical or sexual abuse that occurred. Furthermore, this happened 7 to 8 years ago. Is emotional/mental abuse something serious? Yes. And the girl herself.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
And the girl herself admitted she wanted an apology, but it's not something unforgivable or worth canceling someone for, especially with all the legit good things he's done. What I find especially appalling is we haven't even heard his side of the story yet people in his comments are already turning on him. So I don't agree with this entire post, and some of the language is kind of garbo. I don't think abuse is forgivable, actually. And it's only up to victims whether they want to forgive their respective abusers, not the rest of us. That's just like a side note. But overall, this person is right. People were really quick to turn on him with absolutely no evidence, literally only hearsay from someone who needs to go to therapy instead of emotionally dumping on TikTok. 30s, by the way, allegedly. I also think, well, what about his side of the story? Is a dangerous, slippery slope that veers us into apologist territory, and we don't want to go there. It's weird over there. But in this instance, if his side would have at least given us more information, sure. There was nowhere near enough information for people to be pulling out their pitchforks and branding Cory as the latest disappointment YouTuber. One thing I've learned observing controversies online for many years is that most people online don't care to critically think about any situation. It's more fun to find something to be angry about and believe a negative narrative about it than to actually learn the truth of the matter. People want the drama and hate. It takes too much to critically think, and the truth is more boring for them than the narrative. It's another reason why it's becoming easier to tune out hate from the terminally online mob. This person hit the nail on the head, in my opinion. I don't really have any more critique. Using your critical thinking is important in general, but especially now with the rise of anti-intellectualism and fascism. You may not see the correlation here, but I do. If you'll fall for something like this that is blatantly done in bad faith, you'll fall for much more serious and damaging shit. That's how red hats were turned into the mindless buying sheep for billionaires and pedophiles. It's also just really annoying to see. Now, no one is immune to falling for these things. We will all get tricked by something eventually. But if you use that precious brain in your head and strengthen its power, that will happen less. And we'll all be much less annoying to each other. And we'll be that much closer to achieving harmony. Doesn't that sound like a good internet to be on? Lastly, I just didn't know where else to fit this. People were trying to paint Cory as an assailant of the sexual order because he made a very distasteful joke. Panda Ninja posted a video with him where he's like, I was watching you sleep, I did stuff to you, and they bounced off of each other and laughed. She clearly didn't take it seriously. I think it's a disgusting joke to make and not really something to joke about at all. But, one, within reason, a disgusting joke is not necessarily someone telling on themselves. 2, this was years ago. Let us all move on from the shitty things people said in the previous decade. I am begging on my knees like the guy in that Victorious song. But don't worry, all is not bleak and depressing and aggravating. It appears most people saw the light and recognized Panda Ninja was exaggerating and just needlessly sharing with the world private details of a relationship that really didn't need to be shared. But this should be a reason not only in learning to use critical thinking, but parasocial relationships. It's weird to hear something about a celebrity or influencer and immediately say they would never do that. How do you know that? You don't know them. It's also weird in instances like this that's really vague with no evidence to immediately say, oh well, I never liked them anyway, what an asshole.